A man sits across from you in a beachfront office. He has a notepad, a medical degree on the wall, a calm voice that makes you feel like you are finally being heard. You tell him about the people you have hurt, the marriages you have ruined, the violence you cannot stop. He nods, he takes notes, he charges you $1,000 and tells you to come back next week. But he is not writing down how to help you. He is writing a television script. GTA 5 has some of the most iconic villains in gaming. Steve Haynes, the corrupt FIB agent, Devin Weston, the billionaire psychopath, Trevor Phillips, depending on how you look at him. But none of them did what Dr. Isaiah Friedlander did, because Friedlander did not use guns, threats, or blackmail. He used trust. He weaponized the one place where Michael DeSanta was supposed to be safe, his therapist's office, and turned it into a business model built entirely on exploitation. The ordinary world. If you had asked anyone in Los Santos about Dr. Isaiah Friedlander before 2013, they would have called him one of the most respected therapists in the city. He operated out of a beachfront clinic on the Pacific Bluffs coastline. He had a best-selling book called Sociopath, Inside the Mind of America's Most Deluded Criminals. His website described him as a media personality, secular Buddhist, and keen model boat enthusiast. He had treated celebrities and criminals alike. He had no idea what was about to walk through his door. Michael DeSanta was a retired bank robber living in witness protection in Rockford Hills. He had a wife who hated him, kids who ignored him, and a lifetime of violence he couldn't outrun. According to Michael himself, the only reason he kept seeing Friedlander was because nobody else in his life cared enough to listen. Think about that. A man surrounded by family, money, and every material comfort Los Santos could offer, and the only person he could talk to was the guy charging him $500 an hour to pretend to care. That is where Friedlander's villainy begins, not with a grand scheme, not with hired guns, with a vulnerable man walking through the door and a doctor who saw dollar signs instead of a patient. The sessions. The therapy sessions with Dr. Friedlander are some of the most revealing moments in GTA 5, and almost all of them are optional. Most players skip them entirely. They show up once or twice, get bored by the dialogue, and never go back. But if you attend every single session, a very different picture of Friedlander emerges. In the early sessions, Friedlander asks Michael about his violent behavior. Michael confesses. He admits that he kills people without remorse. He talks about his broken marriage, his distant children, his inability to feel anything real. And Friedlander's response is fascinating. He shows almost no concern. He looks at his watch, waiting for the session timer to expire. He offers advice so vague it borders on parody. He tells Michael to think about the person he wants to be and become obsessed with it. That sounds like therapy on the surface, but look at what Friedlander is actually doing. He is not challenging Michael's behavior. He is not creating a treatment plan. He is not addressing the root causes of Michael's violence. He is letting Michael talk, running out the clock and collecting payment. Every session ends the same way. Michael is no better. Friedlander is richer. Then the prices go up. Friedlander increases his rate from $500 to $1,000 per session. He sends Michael an email describing this as a reasonable 75% increase. Family sessions where Amanda and Michael argue while Friedlander sits there making no effort to intervene cost $4,000 each. He is not treating Michael. He is farming him. The diagnosis. Nobody talks about. Up to this point, Friedlander had been coasting, collecting checks and running out the clock. That was about to change. In the session called Evil, Friedlander does something that reveals exactly who he is. He tells Michael that he might be a fascinating, rare combination of a sociopath and a deluded psychopath. Or, he adds, just a classic case of a weak pup who was weaned too soon by an angry mother. Read those two diagnoses carefully. One frames Michael as a fascinating psychological subject. The other frames him as pathetic. Neither one is designed to help Michael. Both are designed to make Friedlander feel intellectually superior. He is not treating his patient. He is categorizing him, the way a collector pins a butterfly to a board. And here is the detail that makes it darker. Friedlander's published book is about sociopathic criminals. Michael is a sociopathic criminal sitting in his office confessing everything. Friedlander is not just a therapist. He is a researcher harvesting material from a live subject who is paying for the privilege of being studied. The betrayal. If the exploitation of Michael's trust were the only problem, Friedlander might have remained a minor character in GTA 5's story. But then, the final session happened. The mission is called Abandonment Issues, and the title alone tells you everything Rockstar wanted you to feel. Michael arrives at Friedlander's office. The doctor says he has never heard such a barrage of denial, self-justification, and outright horror. Then he takes out a camera. He snaps a photo with Michael, and he drops the real news. He is leaving Los Santos. He has been offered his own television show, and the show is based on his therapy sessions with Michael. He has renamed Michael as Marquis de Santos, as if changing one letter of the name somehow makes it ethical. Every confession, every breakdown, every moment of vulnerability that Michael shared in what he believed was a confidential medical setting, all of it packaged into entertainment. Friedlander runs out of his office, jumps into his red Comet, and speeds away. At that moment, the game gives you a choice. Chase him down and kill him, or let him go. Most players killed him. The betrayal is so visceral, so personal, that pulling the trigger feels like the only appropriate response. But here is where Rockstar did something clever. Killing Friedlander is the emotional choice. Letting him live is the canonical one. Quick thing before we get into the darkest part of Friedlander's story. The data behind this channel shows that over 80% of you watching right now are not subscribed. That means you are showing up for these deep dives, but the algorithm has no incentive to recommend the next video to you. If you care about the Rockstar lore that most channels skip over, hit subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Why sparing him was worse. If you kill Friedlander, the story ends. A Weasel news report announces his death. Justice served. But Rockstar decided that sparing him was the official canon, which means everything that happens next is on Michael. If spared, Friedlander sends Michael a text message apologizing. It sounds sincere, but here is what makes it so calculated. He already has the material. The apology costs him nothing. Whether Michael forgives him or not, Friedlander still has years of recorded sessions from a confessed killer, and a television network ready to broadcast them. The apology is not remorse, it is reputation management. And then, about 10 years later, Friedlander proves exactly what kind of person he always was. The return, Fried Mind. In 2023, Rockstar brought Dr. Friedlander back, not as a cameo, not as a background reference, as the primary antagonist of the Los Santos drug wars storyline in GTA Online. By this point, Friedlander had leveraged Michael's sessions into a full media empire. He had his own television show, a radio program, and best-selling books. But that was not enough. He established the Fried Mind Pharmaceutical Corporation, a company built around psychedelic-assisted therapy. On the surface, it sounded progressive, a licensed therapist developing cutting-edge treatments for mental health. Underneath, Friedlander had stockpiled 80% of the world's supply of precursor chemicals needed to manufacture psychedelic compounds. He kidnapped a chemist named Labra from the Fooligans gang and forced him to create a new hallucinogenic drug that was 10 times more potent than psilocybin. His plan was to mass-produce this drug, sell psychedelic therapy sessions to wealthy clients, and use the profits to build what he called a temple of peace and sanity in the jungles of South America. A therapist building a drug empire, using kidnapped labor, hiding behind the language of healing and wellness. That is not satire. That is the logical endpoint of a character who was always using other people's pain as raw material for his own ambitions. The escape nobody saw coming. The last dose missions in GTA Online, and with the player storming Friedlander's operation. You rescue Labrat. You shut down Fried Mind. You win. But Friedlander doesn't die. In the final mission, BDKD, he jumps out of a cargo plane wearing a parachute and disappears. The man who exploited Michael's therapy sessions, built a media empire on stolen confessions, founded a pharmaceutical company on kidnapping and illegal drug manufacturing, and tried to corner the global market on psychedelic chemicals, floated away with a parachute. Still alive, still free, still out there somewhere. Some fans believe Friedlander could appear in GTA 6, set in the fictional state of Leonida. His plan to build a compound in South America means he is geographically closer to Vice City than Los Santos, and Rockstar clearly sees value in the character since they elevated him from a minor optional NPC to a full-blown main antagonist across 2 games. Why he is the darkest villain. GT. A 5 has no shortage of terrible people. Steve Haynes tortures a man for information that does not exist. Devin Weston orders hits on innocent people for profit. Trevor Phillips is Trevor Phillips. But every single one of those villains operates through force. They threaten, they intimidate, They use power that is visible and understood by their victims. Friedlander does none of that. His weapon is the therapeutic relationship itself. He exploits the one dynamic in human interaction where a person is supposed to be completely vulnerable, where they lower every defense, where they say the things they would never say to anyone else. And he turns that vulnerability into content. Michael chose to walk into that office. He chose to open up. He chose to trust a man with a medical degree and a calm voice. And Friedlander took every piece of trust Michael offered and converted it into career advancement. First, the sessions funded his lifestyle. Then the confessions funded his television show. Then the pharmaceutical company funded his drug empire. Every stage of Friedlander's career was built on top of someone else's suffering. That is darker than anything Steve Haynes did. Because when Steve Haynes walks into a room, you know what he is. When Friedlander walks in, you think he is there to help. And by the time you realize he was never there to help at all, he has already taken everything he needs. What Rockstar was actually saying. Friedlander is Rockstar's commentary on an entire industry. The wellness economy. The self-help gurus who sell healing as a product. The therapists who write books about their patients. The pharmaceutical companies that market cures while manufacturing dependency. Every institution in GTA 5 is corrupt. The FIB is corrupt. The IAA is corrupt. The police are corrupt. The film industry is corrupt. Rockstar built an entire world where nothing works the way it is supposed to. The therapy office is the one place where the corruption hurts the most, because it is the one place where Michael was actually trying to get better. That is the cruelest joke in the entire game. The only character in GTA 5 who genuinely tries to change, who sits in a chair week after week and admits his flaws, who pays thousands of dollars for professional help, gets exploited by the very person who is supposed to guide him. Michael never had a chance. And Friedlander knew it from the first session. Dr. Isaiah Friedlander charged Michael $500 a session, then $1,000, then $4,000 for his family. He recorded every word. He diagnosed Michael as a fascinating specimen rather than treating him as a patient. He sold Michael's trauma to a television network. He founded a pharmaceutical empire on kidnapping and illegal drugs. And when the walls finally closed in, he jumped out of an airplane with a parachute. Every other villain in GTA 5 used guns. Friedlander used a notepad. If you think there is a darker character in the GTA universe, drop your pick in the comments. And if you want to see the full story Rockstar deleted from GTA 5 that nobody was supposed to find, that video is on screen now. I will catch you in the next one.